My mother, who had cancer, passed away after a long battle. However, my husband and mother-in-law, who somehow delighted beside me in grief. When I returned home after taking care of my father, they welcomed me with shining eyes.
There is an inheritance of $2 million, right? Let's live in an apartment in New York.
And it's a newly built apartment.
As a result of a grand misunderstanding that they only thought of human life as money, they ended up losing everything. My name is Maria. I'm 43 years old and have no children. This is a story about when my mother passed away. My ex-husband and ex-mother-in-law only saw human life as money. I can't believe I didn't notice such a terrible nature. I met Liam, my ex-husband, when I was 26 years old through a friend's introduction. The reason we started dating was because of Liam's intense approach. Honestly, I wasn't that interested in Liam, but it seems that Liam fell in love with me at first sight, so I started dating him as recommended by my friend. Liam is tall and has a decent face. But when it comes to personality, he's not very understanding and is the type who is ignorant of people's feelings. In addition, he was a little out of touch with the world, and I, who had never had a boyfriend before, thought he was cute.
What? It's been decided that the Olympics will be held in the UK. Did you know?
Oh. It's been a topic for a year. Why don't you know? For some reason, this kind of conversation was fresh, and we had a pretty good time when we were together. We got engaged after about a year of dating. I remember being very happy with the proposal because I had never been popular before. But since we got married, Liam hasn't done any housework at all. We started living together after we got married. Liam chose a place near our workplaces. But when we actually started married life, Liam couldn't even clean, let alone do laundry. To be honest, I was dissatisfied, but since I was an only child and had been doing housework since I was little, I didn't feel so bad and was able to endure it. Around 4 years after getting married, my mother was diagnosed with cancer and had to be hospitalized. It was hard to see my mother, who was fighting the disease with all her might, getting thinner and weaker as time passed. But she acted so energetically that I couldn't tell how much she was suffering.
I won't die until I see my grandchild's face.
I'm sorry, it might take a little longer. Watching my mother trying to live with all her might gave me courage, naturally. After my mother was hospitalized for a while, my father hurt his leg and needed care. My father was a former lawyer and retired, living in his parents' house. Lawyers are often thought to be strict, but my father was a kind and easygoing person.
I'm really sorry. Please take care of your mother as well as me.
While using senior day care for my father's care, I basically took care of him myself. After that, I started to leave home more often to take care of my father. Liam, who couldn't do housework, had been patient at first, but gradually began to express his dissatisfaction.
Hey, when are you coming back? What about the housework?
Sorry, can you do some housework for me? My mother is having a hard time now, so I think I can't come home for a while.
What? Both your parents are having a hard time. Okay, come back soon.
I wasn't always at my parents' house, but I went back to my own house occasionally. If I didn't go back at a certain frequency, Liam wouldn't clean up or take out the garbage, and the house would become a mess. One day when I came back home, my mother-in-law was there. Liam was at work.
Oh, you're finally back. Are you done with your parents' business?
No, not yet. Why are you here?
Why? Because you don't do housework and come home. I'm here instead of you doing housework.
Although it has been like this since long ago, my mother-in-law is very sweet to Liam. Liam is the youngest of 3 siblings. I thought that Liam, who was spoiled by his 2 older sisters and his mother, was lazy because of that. I'm sorry. I'm back for a while today because I asked senior day care to take care of my father. I'll do the housework.
Most of the housework is done, so it's okay. You make dinner.
I understand.
Have you ever thought about putting your father in a nursing home? Maria can't keep leaving the house forever, can she?
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry. It's my father's intention, but he wants to stay at home as long as my mother is alive because he is still very healthy.
So Maria is going to her parents' house? I don't think it's good to rely on their children forever.
I remember thinking that this was what parents who spoil their children say.
So? How is your mother doing? She has cancer, right?
Yes, my mother's cancer is progressing day by day. Actually. In fact, I had just been told by my mother's attending physician that she had only 3 months left to live. When I heard that, I was really sad and almost cried. The hospital doctor gave me words of encouragement.
I think your mother has been doing really well. Although she must be in a lot of pain, she hardly ever looks like she is. Other attending physicians have said the same thing, but your mother is really admirable.
When I was told that, I finally burst into tears on the spot. My mother-in-law asked me about the cancer and I was at a loss for words. She continued to ask questions without any concern for me.
Oh, that's too bad. Is the cancer already quite advanced?
Yes, that's right. The hospital doctor said she has only 3 months left.
Oh, really?
At that time, my mother-in-law looked happy for some reason. After that, her footsteps while doing housework seemed lighter for some reason. After some time had passed, about 3 months after the day when my mother was told how long she had left to live, she was still fighting cancer and doing well. My mother liked the garden at the hospital. She had always loved flowers, and it had become a daily routine for her to look at the colorful flowers blooming in the garden. Whenever I visited her, she would always ask me to take her to the garden. Mom, are you okay? You shouldn't push yourself too hard.
I'm perfectly fine. I have your father to think about, and I can't die that easily. Besides, the flowers in the garden are blooming so beautifully right now. Seeing them makes me feel better. So, will you take me there?
Okay, Mom. Let's go to the garden. The doctors at the hospital were surprised once again by how well my mother was doing. Her brave and determined attitude was inspiring and encouraging other patients at the hospital. As I pushed my mother's wheelchair through the hospital, various patients would call out to her. That's how famous my mother was. Liam and my mother-in-law's complaints to me grew stronger as time went by. Liam would call me almost every day.
How much longer are you going to stay away? My mother is at her limit, too, you know.
I understand how you feel, but why don't you do some housework, too? If you leave everything to your mother-in-law, of course she'll reach her limit.
You're so annoying. I'm tired from work. I don't have the energy to do housework. Besides, it's your fault for not coming home more often, isn't it? I'm the one supporting the family, so it's only natural that you do the housework, right?
I understand, but please think about our parents a little bit. I can't do it all by myself.
If you're going to say that, then think about my mother, too.
Liam and I have always been like this. We always seem to miss the point. Why doesn't he try to do the housework that his mother-in-law is doing herself? Why does he see his healthy mother-in-law and sick parents as being in the same situation? Okay, I get it. I'll try to come home a little more often.
What's with the sigh? What are you unhappy about? Tell me.
And when we fight, he bites back like this. He thinks it's okay to shout and get angry. Liam can't talk calmly.
But, you can do the minimum household chores like laundry and cleaning, right? I was doing them while working too.
No one teaches me how to do them? I can't do them without being taught.
I was so fed up with him that I had no words to say back. After that, I had to listen to Liam's nonsense for a long time, and when I finally hung up the phone, I got a call from my mother-in-law about 20 minutes later.
You're such a useless wife who can't even take care of your husband. And what's more, they're an old cripple who can't even move properly. They should just die instead of living in vain.
When I got the call from my mother-in-law after talking to Liam, I had a feeling it was coming, but it was a terrible thing to say. I didn't say anything back, and just hung up the phone silently. Around that time, I started to think about divorcing Liam. I realized how abnormal he was when I started to live apart from him. Honestly, it was mentally easier to live with my father than to live with my husband in the same house. I picked up the voice recorder I had prepared.
They're an old cripple who can't even move properly. They should just die instead of living in vain.
I recorded her abusive words clearly. This was the start of collecting the verbal abuse from the two of them. And about a year after I was told I had a terminal illness, I got a phone call from the hospital.
Your mother is in critical condition. She may not make it through today or tomorrow.
I took my father and headed to the hospital right away. My mother looked like she was sleeping peacefully, but her pulse was almost gone. My father spoke to her in a gentle voice.
It was really fun to spend time with you. I'm so glad I met you. Let's be together again in the next life.
I was holding my mother's hand and crying. I couldn't find the words to say. She was fine until yesterday. My mother listened to my father's words and fell asleep quietly with a somewhat relieved expression on her face. And after a long battle with cancer, my mother passed away. The day my mother died, the whole hospital was filled with tears. My mother tried to act cheerful until the end, not wanting to worry us. I was fooled by that and thought she would live longer, but my mother was apparently at her limit. Everyone at the hospital mourned and paid their respects to my mother.
You really did your best.
The flowers in the garden might be lonely too.
Many doctors and patients spoke to me and my father. I was happy as if it was my own thing that my mother was loved. After the wake and the funeral, my father, who had been living at home, started the process of moving into a nursing home soon after my mother passed away. Dad, are you sure?
I didn't want to leave here while your mother was alive. I wanted to keep her place to come back to.
Dad. I think my father's kindness was one of the factors that made my mother live longer. In fact, he often visited her in the hospital despite his bad legs, and he was a good conversation partner for her. Dad, I'm sorry. We won't be able to spend much time together from now on.
No, I'm really sorry for putting a burden on you until now. From now on, please take good care of your family. I'm really glad you're my daughter.
That day, my father stayed at the nursing home. The house where no one lived became vacant for the time being. And so I decided to go back to the house where Liam was waiting for me after a long time. I was very reluctant to go home, as I had been receiving sarcastic remarks from him on the phone. I thought I would calm down a bit after I got home, and then bring up the topic of divorce. That's what I was thinking. When I got home, Liam and his mother greeted me with sparkling eyes for some reason. I'm home. I'm sorry, I've been away for a long time.
Welcome back, Maria. Don't worry. I did the housework properly. You must be relieved too. Good job.
It was tough here without Maria, you know. But finally I can relax.
They were both in a good mood, unlike usual. I thought they would say something nasty to me as soon as I got back, so it was kind of creepy. And the reason for that became clear soon after.
So, your mother-in-law has an inheritance, right?
Inheritance? I haven't talked about that yet.
Not yet? Well, never mind. That's right. I have a surprise for Maria.
Huh, what? Inheritance? Surprise? I had a bad feeling about it. Liam was, as he said earlier, ignorant of the world. His mother was smiling next to him, looking at me. It was so creepy that I got goosebumps.
I bought a condo in New York. Let's live there together, the three of us. How about that? Aren't you happy?
And it's a newly built condo. It's exciting, isn't it?
My mind went blank. Condo? Why condo? And 3 people? Condo? Can you explain what you mean?
A condo is a condo. Your mother has an inheritance of $2 million, right?
That's right, Maria. Don't be so cool, just be happy.
My mom's inheritance is not $2 million. And most of the inheritance she had was spent on her medical treatment.
No, Maria, your mother has an inheritance of $2 million.
Isn't that my dad?
Huh?
When I said that, the 2 people in front of me opened their mouths and froze. I had heard that my father had some assets that he had inherited from his ancestors, plus some money that he had earned as a lawyer. I wasn't sure how much it was, though. Liam seemed to have misunderstood something and thought that the assets that my father had were my mother's.
Excuse me, Maria? That's not what we agreed on. Liam, did you make a mistake again?
Wait a minute, Maria, what about the inheritance? The $2 million inheritance? Why isn't it there?
What are you talking about? My father is still alive. There's no way he has an inheritance.
Are you sure it's not your mother's inheritance? Are you sure you're not mistaken?
Hey, my mother just died. I don't know either. But I'm sure my mother didn't have any inheritance of her own. I've heard that my father has some things that he's been passing down for generations, but... And what do you mean, inheritance, right after my mother died? What kind of nerve do you have? Do you think people's lives are money?
When I said that, Liam looked like he was thinking for a while. And then he muttered this.
I see. The one who died was the one who had no inheritance.
I didn't miss that. Liam only saw my mother as someone who would leave him an inheritance. You're the worst. Then his mother snapped at me.
You're the worst, Maria! You were lying to Liam, weren't you? Just because he's a little slow, you took advantage of him and lied to him, didn't you?
His mother seemed to realize that there was no turning back, and she was panicking.
What's the benefit of me lying to this guy? And how much did the condo cost?
It's $600,000.
Liam was thinking by himself. Apparently he really made a mistake, and he and his mother had been thinking about how to use the inheritance. One of them was the condo.
Enough. It's disgusting that you're trying to use my parents' inheritance without my consent. Including the harassment you did while I was at my parents' house. I can't be with you anymore. I want a divorce.
I had reached my limit after hearing about the apartment deal. I brought up the divorce sooner than I expected.
Wait a minute, Maria! You don't have to say that much, do you? Ha!
Don't you care at all that my mother passed away? You were secretly happy that you would get the inheritance, weren't you? Besides, you have no right to inherit anything from them. How could you sign a contract for an apartment without knowing that? I can't live with you anymore.
I have no right to inherit. That's nonsense. Maria's money should be our money as a married couple.
Our money? You were trying to use it as your own money, weren't you? I'm done with you. Bye.
Hey! Wait a minute.
I shook off Liam's restraint and left the house. I had nowhere to go, but I decided to go back to my empty parents' house and sleep for the night. The next morning, I had a lot of missed calls on my phone, but I ignored them all. I said those things in the heat of the moment yesterday, but I thought I would calm down after a night. But I still wanted to divorce him. I consulted my father, a former lawyer, about this matter, and he introduced me to a good lawyer. The divorce mediation was overwhelmingly in my favor because I had planted a voice recorder.
You're such a useless wife who can't even take care of your husband. And what's more, they're an old cripple who can't even move properly. They should just die and stop living so hard.
I see. The one who died was the one who had no inheritance.
I had recorded the words that my mother-in-law had said over the phone and the true feelings that Liam had muttered.
The mediation itself was over in about 3 months. Thanks to the good skills of the lawyer that my father introduced me to, I think it ended a little faster than average. Liam kept contacting me even after the divorce was finalized. He called me and emailed me. Most of the content was about the apartment. He didn't care about me at all. Liam's dream was to live comfortably in the apartment he got with the inheritance, while making me do the housework for the rest of my life. When I thought about that, I gradually started to ignore Liam's contact completely. After that, I ended up alone and asked my father to live with me.
Anyway, I can't believe your husband thought he could inherit my estate. Did your mother-in-law not know anything either?
I guess he thought it would be our money as a couple because I was the one who inherited it. But I wonder why he misunderstood that my mother had $2 million in inheritance.
That's because I accidentally slipped my tongue when I drank with him before you got married. I said I had $2 million in assets. I wanted him to be a man who could earn as much as me. Ha ha ha!
What? It was you?
Maybe I didn't say it after all. I don't remember much because I was drunk. Ha ha ha!
What's that? My father has always been a joker. But Liam was also Liam for remembering and misunderstanding such a conversation at a drinking party. As for Liam, he tried to cancel the contract for the condo, but he ended up paying nearly $100,000 in earnest money and penalty fees. Liam had no savings, so I'm sure he's begging his mother-in-law. It was a natural punishment for Liam, who only saw money in people's lives. I also think it's wrong to make expensive purchases without consulting me. Getting married was a mistake, but I'm really glad I was able to divorce before my father passed away. How did you like this story? Please also subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.